Hey everybody, today we're going to show you how to complete the quest Saint of the Slums here in Dragon's Dogma 2, so let's jump into it. So to start this quest, you're going to want to head over to the Gracious Hand, which is found in the slums here in Vernworth. Now once you make it down there, you should have a nun named Elena arguing with a man in front of the building. If they're not arguing there, then you haven't done enough of the main story for this side quest to start. So just do some more main story progression. Eventually, when you come down here to the Gracious Hand, you will see this encounter happening. Now, once you see that, you just want to walk up to it. It'll automatically trigger the cutscene where you'll see the dialogue happening between them both. And once it ends, they're going to separate and walk away. At this point, you need to walk up to Elena and start dialogue with her. You'll go through a little bit of dialogue with her, and then she's going to ask you for a favor, and you're going to agree to help. After you agree to help, she's going to ask you to go out and get some Miasmite. Now to retrieve Miasmite, we're going to have to defeat phantoms, which only spawn at night. Now we're going to show you a location where I first found them as soon as I left Vernworth, but these are going to be found pretty much anywhere outside the walls of Vernworth in the evening hours when it's dark out. So make sure you sleep at the inn or sit down at a bench, make it dark, and then wander off outside of Vernworth. You'll find these guys pretty much everywhere. They're the giant white glowing orbs that kind of float around and make creepy noises. But as you defeat these guys, they will drop the Miasmite that we need. I don't want to say every single one is going to drop one, so you might end up having to take out a couple of these guys, but we're going to need 3 in total. So make sure that you get 3 Miasmite before you head back to the town. Now, once you've gathered all 3, we're going to return to the Gracious Hand where we're going to find Elena standing outside the front door. We're going to go up and speak to her, and we're going to be able to give her the 3 Miasmite that we collected. Once you do, she's going to give you a little bit more dialogue and ask if you would like to take a tour of the Gracious Hand. We are going to answer gladly, and she's going to take us inside. Now, when she takes us inside, she's going to take us to the back and introduce us to a guy named Lubomir who is sick and laying on the bed. We're going to sit here and have a little bit of dialogue with Lubomir until we're done. And once we're finished with the dialogue here, we're then going to head outside. And if you wait for just a second, there's going to be another nun named Lottie that follows you out the door and automatically starts more dialogue with you. You're going to stand there and listen to what she has to say, and once her dialogue is finished, we're then going to go back inside of the Gracious Hand, go back to Lubomir, and start more dialogue with him. He's going to give us a little bit more information. We're going to accept his offer, and once we're done with that, we'll be able to move on to the next step. Our next step is going to be to make sure that it's nighttime once again. So if it's not nighttime in your game, go rest at the inn or sit on a bench and pass time until it's dark out, and then we're going to return to the Gracious Hand. Now once you make it back to the Gracious Hand at night, we're going to go inside and take a left and work our way down the stairs. Once you make it to the bottom of the stairs, go to the end of the hallway, and we're going to go into the door on the right, and then we're going to go through another door that's going to be locked if it's daytime, which is why we need it to be night. We're going to go through this door here where all the beds are, and we're going to go through this curtain in this back room. Now you want to pick up everything that's in here. The items that we really need are the unlabeled medicine, and then right over here on the bookshelf is going to be the records of treatment, but there's some other items in here as well. Once you gather both of those items, we'll be ready to move on to the next step. We are now going to head over to Walter's Tavern. You'll have a little yellow marker on your map to show you where to go. But once you make it over to the tavern, there's going to be 2 specific guys that are sitting down next to the fire. You want to speak to both of those guys, as both of them are patients of the Gracious Hand. As you speak to each one of them, they're going to give you a little bit more information that'll add a little bit more to our story. Once you finish the dialogue with these guys, we can then move on to the next step. Once we're done at the tavern, we're then going to head over to the common quarter in Vernworth. You'll have again another yellow marker to show you exactly where to go. But once you make your way over here, you're going to find Elena talking with a man. All we have to do for this step is to eavesdrop. When you get close enough to this conversation, it will automatically cue the cutscene where you'll be able to listen to their dialogue. And once their dialogue ends, we'll be able to move on to the next step. Once we're done eavesdropping, we're going to head back over to the Gracious Hand, and we're going to speak with Lubomir, who's still laying on that same bed. There's a little bit of a glitch where he can sit up and you're not able to start the dialogue. So if he's sitting up, just wait for him to lay down and then you can speak with him. You're going to get a couple options, 1 being to give him the medicine and 2 being to give him the records. We're going to do both of these, and he's going to give us some more information. And after we finish the dialogue from both of these options, he's going to tell us that we need to go speak with a doctor. Now, unfortunately for us, that doctor is going to be found way out west at the checkpoint rest town. Now, you can take an ox cart to get here. If you haven't opened up this part of the map, you can go by foot, so you can unlock that. But once you make your way out to the checkpoint rest town, there's going to be a yellow marker on your map at a small house on top of the hill. We're going to make our way up to that house, and as soon as you go inside, you're going to automatically start dialogue with the doctor named Radcliffe. Radcliffe is going to talk to you for just a second, and you're going to get the option to give him the unlabeled medicine. Go ahead and give him that medicine. He'll give you a little bit more dialogue and tell you that you need to wait a few days until he can examine it. Now, there's an inn here in town that you can sleep overnight at to pass time to the next day. I only did it one day. If it doesn't work for you, you can sleep for 2. But once you make it back over to the doctor, you want to start the dialogue with him. And if you've waited long enough, he will tell you the information that he has discovered. He'll give you a little bit more dialogue and we'll be able to move on to the final step. Our final step, of course, is to return to the gracious hand. When you go inside, you're going to go to the back of the room and speak with Lottie. Lottie's going to let you know that Lubomir has been moved downstairs, but we don't want to find Lubomir. We want to find Elena because she's dirty. So we're going to go back to that same room in the back right corner, and we're going to find Elena inside. All you need to do here is tackle her. So just grab onto her, tackle her to the ground. She's going to say, "What are you doing?" You can go ahead and skip that dialogue. She's going to tell you to unhand her, and boom, it's going to cue a cutscene, which is the final part to this quest. We're going to end up going to jail for this, but we're not going to stay for long, as the guards are going to let us know that they've found the evidence and they've decided that she has been doing some dirty things. And once that cutscene is done, the quest will be complete. But this is how to complete the Saint of the Slums quest here in Dragon's Dogma 2. Hopefully this video helps some of you guys out. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next one.